What's up, everyone? I hope everyone has had a great time lately. With the actor strike finally being over, we've been inundated with several trailers for upcoming projects, some of them coming out in just the next couple of months. The one I'm talking about today is Apple TV's Masters of the Air. This show was originally called The Mighty Eighth and was being produced for HBO. It was going to be about the 8th Air Force during World War II, similar to how Band of Brothers was about Easy Company and the Pacific was about the 1st Marine Division. This was going to tell the story about the 8th Air Force and their bombing campaigns. Now, before I get into this, I have to say how excited I am for this show. I loved Band of Brothers and the Pacific, though I do think the Pacific was the weaker of the two due to its telling of several stories rather than just the story of the 1st Marine Division. And before we get into the trailer and talking about it, I'd love for y'all to comment below what you think of Band of Brothers and the Pacific. Band of Brothers took the world by storm in 2001 and is probably one of the greatest miniseries of all time, and definitely one of the greatest things HBO ever did. So I'm curious what y'all think about that and this show finally coming out. So let's watch the trailer.
Let's rack them up and knock them down. When you look at it, you don't pay attention to what's really going on. It's kind of beautiful. We came from every corner of the country with a common purpose. Go, 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 go! To bring the war to Hitler's doorstep. These daylight missions. They're suicide. How much to leave? We lead our boys through. We're getting through this, even if the odds are stacked against us. First time in the sawmill, boys. Let's rack them up and knock them down.
Wow, what a beautiful trailer. Now, I've watched this several times now, and when I first watched it, there were two things that stuck out. The first was the red tail that we see about halfway through the trailer, and that does concern me. And I'm worried about it for a couple reasons. The first is that the Tuskegee Airmen are deserving of their own show. Their story is one of the coolest during World War II, and I wish we could get an actual show about them. My other concern is that I have not yet been able to find a mission where the Red Tails escorted the 100th Bomber Group. That doesn't mean it didn't happen, it just means that I haven't found it yet. There's a website that the 8th Air Force maintains that shows all of the fighter groups and bomber groups of the 8th Air Force. And the 332nd, which is the Red Tails, was not part of the 8th Air Force. So, what concerns me is that Apple is not telling the story like they did in Band of Brothers, but combining stories to make a based on true events story. And I feel like that cheapens both the stories of the 332nd and the 100th Bomber Group. The other thing that pops out is the scene where Austin Butler's character says daytime missions. And that's up near the beginning, just as you see the German 88s right here.
These daylight missions. They're suicide.
See, so they're talking about daylight missions. You see, when the U.S. entered the war, the SOP for bombing runs was nighttime missions. But when Germany invaded Russia and started pushing very far into their territory, Stalin was adamant that the U.S. and British start the invasion of Europe. But with such a massive undertaking, the Allies did not have the manpower or logistical ability yet to undertake such a campaign. One decision made to help placate Stalin was to establish basically 24-hour bombing runs into Germany. The idea was that if they could disrupt the factories and the industry of Germany, they would provide a respite for the Soviets. So these daytime missions started around 1942. And I'm going to assume that we will see what is called Big Week in the show. Big Week was the nickname given to a huge bombing operation where the US bombed several German factories and helped establish air superiority over Europe. Overall, not only does the trailer look amazing, and the B-25Es that you see here in this shot, just look at those things. And beyond just the B-25s, but the German 88s right here, everything just looks impeccable. It looks like another home run for Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg. Apple really seems to have put in the effort to make this show what it should be. And it's funny because I was talking to someone about the original trailer that came out like 6 years ago when it was still called The Mighty Eighth and it was on HBO. And that trailer ends basically with the pilot seeing these like 1,000 German 109s flying at them. And we were talking about how that's not what it would have been. It would have been this massive Luftwaffe air raid. It would have been like 20 or 30 109s that come in to defend the airfield or the factories that the Americans are getting ready to bomb. It wouldn't have been this massive force. And that's what it looks like we finally get here. So I'm really impressed with this trailer. And I hope that we get to see the bravery of those men we hear so little about and the brotherhood formed in Metal Beasts 1,000 feet in the air. Master of the Air comes out January 26th, and I cannot wait to talk more about this. Thanks everyone for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow us on Twitter at King'sAdvisors_.